Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we'll look at a game that my top student played um, several months ago. As you can see, at the time of the game, he was rated a little bit over 1900. Sometime after that, he actually crossed 2000, and he keeps getting better and better. So, great job to Sudeep and keep up the good work. This is a game he played against someone rated over 2000. It was a very, very instructive game in the Sicilian. So let's take a look. We have e4, c5. Then I have 3 d6, d4, normal Sicilian. Black takes, my takes. Black attacks the pawn, my defense. And black plays a6, which is the Najdorf variation, the most common variation in the Sicilian. So d plays bishop g5, which is one of the main moves. And the idea in this setup for white is usually to play f4, play queen f3, castle 1, and then attack on the king side. Black plays e6. The point of e6 is if we take, black can take with the queen. Because if black did not play e6, and we were to take, then black black would either take with this pawn, and then this pawn would become weak, or black would take with this pawn, and then black pawn structure could be damaged, and castling could be a little bit difficult because this king would be on an open line. So e6 is the main move. So d plays f4, continuing with the plan. Black plays bishop e7 to get ready to castle. So d plays queen f3, continuing with the plan. Queen c7. The point of queen c7, also the point of queen f3, in addition to getting ready to castle. Now if black plays b5, which is something black normally likes doing, white can play pawn e5 and open the queen and also attack the knight, which is one of the reasons behind queen c7. Now if black plays b5 and white plays e5, black can play bishop b7. So deep castles. Black developed the knight, knight bd7, and so deep continues with his plan, pawn g4. Well, white is castle alone, so black goes for the pawn storm on the queen side. So deep takes, which is the main move. Black has several ways of taking. He chooses the main one. So deep now expands with g5. Black drops the knight back. My apologies, I need to get some water. And now the main move for white is to play pawn f5. And pawn f5 is a very instructive move because it looks like it blunders a pawn with check. But the logic behind f5 is now after black takes, white moves the king, and for the time being, this has been double attack. Well, what can black do? Well, if black plays something like pawn e5, that gives up control of this square. So before doing anything, white will first jump into d5, attacking this queen. It makes matters really, really uncomfortable. For example, let's pretend the queen goes back home. Now we have knight c6. And this queen is in a very unique position of being trapped. It has no squares. It's kind of fascinating. If the queen goes somewhere else, let's say computer line, queen h7, there are many moves which work. Once again, we can play knight c6, attacking the queen, and white pieces are just incredibly active in this line. So e5 is not a great move you do not want to give white this square. The main move on the highest level is knight e5, because the downside of playing f5 is now this knight gets the square. But now white plays queen h5, tagging the bishop, but also making the spin. And this is still being attacked. And this is incredibly unpleasant for black. So this is the main line. So deep plays the second move in this position, which has been played still quite a bit, plays pawn a3. His point is he wants to stop black's expansion on the queen side and continue to attack on the other side of the board. Black plays knight c5, which looks like a reasonable move, improves the knight. So deep continues with his pawn storm, pawn h4. Black improves the bishop. That's a typical move in the Sicilian once you play b5, putting pressure on the pawn. The pawn is currently defended. So deep continues with his pawn storm, pawn f5. And black doesn't want to take because takes. Now we have very nice knight. We hit in this pawn. We hit in this pawn. The position opens up. And this looks really fun for white to play. So black decides to keep the position closed. Allowing us to take is also not great because we open this line. So black plays pawn e5, attacking the knight. And so deep drops the knight back, and at first it looks like it's not a great move, because black can now trade. But after this trade, white king is actually quite safe. Yes, the pawns are damaged, but it doesn't matter too much. Black plays rook c8, trying to increase pressure on the king. But so deep simply plays b4 because he wants to stop any ideas of black pressure over here. Black plays queen b6, open up the rook, maybe trying to improve the queen. So deep simply steps to the side. He does not want to deal with pressure over here. And black plays bishop c6. Now the reason for black's last two moves, black wanted to play a5. But if you notice, if we go back, in this position black plays a5, this pawn would fall with check. That's not great. So queen b6 covers this pawn, but so deep sidesteps, which means now his knight can also take. So this pawn once again is double attacked, which is why black plays this mysterious move, defend this pawn. But now it's white's turn to attack. Pawn f6. White is trying to open up the position. Black took. So deep took back. The bishop is attacked. He has to square. In the game, he went to f8, which was the best move. Bishop d8. Bishop d8 allows our bishop to come with tempo, attacking the rook. And by the way, also notice there is this pawn hanging as well. So black position just collapses. Which is why black played bishop f8. He needs to keep protecting this pawn. But again, so deep activates all his pieces. Great move. Bishop h3, attacking the rook. Okay, the rook moves, rook d8, and now another very nice move, knight d5. The knight is invading, attacks the queen. This is a common idea in many Sicilians. This square is weak. Black takes the knight. That knight is too powerful. And here, the best move is to take with the rook, because we want to keep putting pressure on this pawn. And we might even be able to double up. Black plays bishop h6, trying to activate, but so deep simply puts more pressure. White pieces are active. White king is safe. Black rooks are not connected. Black king is still okay, but the question is for how long. Black tries to activate his rook, but so deep plays queen h5. hitting the bishop, and behind the bishop there is a pawn. The bishop moves, Sudeep simply takes the pawn. Now the rook is attacked. If the rook moves to f8, White has a really pretty idea of bishop e6. Because if black takes, this is checkmate. Black doesn't have to take, but what else? Our threat, by the way, is to take here and then make this check. This is not just an empty move hoping for this. Something similar will happen in the game, as you will see. Black play king f8, and Sudeep once again plays a beautiful move. Bishop e6. If black takes, this is checkmate. But White is trying to checkmate anyway. Black moves the queen back to defend, but now the queen is overworked. It defends this and this, which allows Sudeep to take, and black cannot take twice. He can take once, takes, but if he takes again, he gets mated. So black moves over with check, but White king is perfectly safe. And this is game over, because White is threatening something like rook g8, and black cannot take because of checkmate. And if black plays something like king d8, now we can checkmate from this direction. Because if rook blocks, we just take. Beautiful, beautiful attack by Sudeep. Great game. And he has accomplished many great things. He has beaten some of the... he has recently defeated one of the top female players in the country, Tatev Abrahamian, and he just keeps getting better and better. Sudeep, keep it up. I'm always impressed with you. Everyone else, thank you for watching. I will be back soon.